So, Avante, back to the permit issue. We still have to pay that permit. And then, right?
And you still have to pay me.
Yes. So I'll have to talk to you about this. I told them they don't want you to do the whole big supervision of all the permits.
Not now, because we want that to be one
I'll
big thing.
just pay you to meet there on site with them for the inspector to show up on that day and deal with the electrical panel. And Robert's going to be there with the inspector as well. And Henry, they can chat with the inspector as well. That's the way they want to proceed.
And so the permit cannot be an owner permit.
They don't want to take you on a retainer because they want to see if they can not yet. They might in the future if they get the money from one of these vendors, but we haven't been able to get the money at the moment. So we're just trying to start the process, right?
But this is the problem. When I go to the city of LA and say, hey, I'm the contractor on this project, it doesn't matter if you pay me or not. I'm responsible. If we don't ever talk again, I'm responsible. So I'm not getting in that relationship unless I'm compensated. It's just not going to happen because they're not going to say, well, Mr. Seaton, Henry and them are nice guys, and I'm on the hook. I mean, maybe that's not clear, but as soon as I process that permit, I am liable for your property. If it falls off the hill 100 years from now, I will be the contractor on record that did that project. So yes, I get it. I understand you want to save money, but you gotta pay the bear first. I mean, I don't want to be involved. I can't be involved. It's not a want or not. I mean, I have to be compensated for being involved. If my name is not on it, then yeah, we can come and we can have meetings all day long. But as soon as I sign my name to that permit, I am your responsible contractor. And if anything goes wrong in that project, until the next contractor comes in, God knows when, I'm the responsible party. Whether you pay me, whether we agree to be paid, whether we do anything like that. So I have to be compensated. There's no way around it.
Yeah, but you're responsible for the work you do. You're not responsible for everything carte blanche in the property.
If I pull the permit, I'm responsible for everything that my name is on with that permit. So if I'm pulling a building permit, that means you can hire guys from Home Depot to come work, and I'm the responsible party. That's how it works. So as a contractor, when I pull that permit, what I'm saying is I'm taking responsibility for this job. So if you go and do something else and you hire some other people, then I come in and I take my name off the permit. So if I put my name on the permit, I'm responsible for that job. And it's not just right now. So hypothetically, let's say we go into this and then 5 years from now you sell the property. You're a great guy. You know Avante didn't do that work. You know the Seaton business didn't have anything to do with it. You sell the property. 10 years from now, the owner of the property looks because the kitchen fell apart. They look and they say, who was the contractor that did this? I'm still under my 15-year obligation by the state. And they can sue me for whatever happened because I was the contractor that was on it. I said, well, Henry didn't pay me nothing. Well, you're the contractor on this permit. You're responsible. So I'm responsible. I don't get to negate my responsibility. As soon as I sign my name on that permit, and I've already started that process, and as soon as I give them a financial payment, I am the contractor on that whole project. I can't say, well, I'm only doing this part. It doesn't work like that.
I don't understand do you think that we're gonna use other people under your license? We're not doing that. Is that what you're worried about? I mean, what is it? What is your point? I don't understand. Are you asking something, Nevis, or what? I'm not sure.
No, I'm not worried about anything. I just wanted you to understand the relationship. So the relationship is when I sign on there on your behalf, the state of California doesn't care what our agreement is. I'm responsible. That's the bottom line. So when I say, here, give me this permit, I'm Avante Seaton, this is my license number, this is my workers' comp, this is my insurance information, yada, 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 I'm the responsible party. So now, if you guys go and do the work yourself,
that's not going to happen.
Responsible. Well,
I know you're not saying that we're going to do that. I'm saying that, but is that the point that you're making? Is that that's not what we're going to do? But we understand that that is you are making yourself, potentially exposing yourself. But we're saying that's not our intent. So, are we just clarifying that for each other, or so? I'm not sure what are you asking something from us?
We're just clarifying.
Oh, yeah, okay. No, I understand.
That's clarifying.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
I mean, I'm with you 100%,
Yeah.
but we've got to compensate me. I mean, that's first and foremost.
Well, I mean, you're being paid for the work that you do. That's your compensation?
And part of my work is pulling the permit, and my fee for pulling the permit is $5,000. I shouldn't even do that. I'm just kind of going out on a limb and just being nice because of my relationship with Dominique. I be honest with you, it's really unethical for me to even do that. But I'm doing it because of my relationship with Dominique. But I really shouldn't do it. It doesn't make any sense for me. You can go call them and say, hey, I want to do a owner builder. I don't know that they will, but it doesn't benefit me any. It just puts me in a liability scenario. It doesn't help me at all. And I'll give you another scenario. Let's just say you got some guys up there looking around. Somebody doing some hammering on the wall. They fall. My worker comp gets charged because I'm the liable contractor on the job. It's just when I pull that permit, I'm the responsible guy, and I can't go be the responsible guy for free. That just
Right, but part of the fee that you were charging was to be meeting with the inspectors. That's what. It's not that
I'm gonna do everything. I'm gonna have meetings with you
Robert
guys.
doesn't understand that you have to have a meeting with the inspectors.
And I'm gonna walk through the whole process. I'm gonna charge you if my guys work, and I'm gonna watch your guys if you hire somebody else. So we're gonna do the whole thing. We're in the whole dance. I mean, we've created a relationship, but my obligation to what I'm supposed to do doesn't change. I'm going to have to be responsible for your job. The moment you pay me, when I receive money for you that goes along with the agreement that we have, I am accountable for your job. And I'm accountable whatever the case is. So I got to make sure that everything is done the way it's supposed to be done.
I just don't understand. So you want to charge us $5,000 to complete the work that you're paid to have done already?
No, I want to charge you $15,000 to pull the permit, but I'm charging you $5,000 as a courtesy to Dominique. Maybe that's not getting clear, but you've got probably about $100,000 project, start to finish. Let's say from today to your end. When you're completely done, it's about maybe $100,000 process, right? Let's say you optimistically you get it down to 60. Well, I'm on the hook until that 60 is complete. So for me, and let's just look at the basic numbers. I mean, my cut would be $20,000, but I'm not even looking at that. That's not even what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is I'm going to pull the permit. I'm going to walk this process with you, and I'm just doing it at some number that I think is fair for you guys, which is well below what it's worth.
Well, and to be clear, what it sounds like, if I'm understanding correctly, Alvante, the $5,000 is really being applied towards the work you will be doing towards getting the compliance in place.
Right, yes, correct. The $5,000 will be me meeting with the inspectors, making sure that workers are not doing shoddy work, making sure that the inspector is happy, making sure that everything is getting signed off, being the general contractor on the project. That's what the $5,000 is for.
Okay.
And we're talking about 6 months, 6 months of work. So, I mean, you do the math.
So
yeah.
There is no work that we're proposing or that you're giving us a quote for other than just addressing the electrical issue right directly in that room where the electrical panel was and those outlets there.
Well, we don't know yet.
Right.
We
So
don't know yet.
how can we agree on paying for something that we don't have an itemized invoice for proposing the work? Because saying that he's going to do he's going to be there for the inspector and be there to make sure his guys do the work properly, and that's basically what the guys did when they were doing the work that they've been paid for. They supposed to have been done to code. It was supposed to have a permit, and they were supposed to have not done anything wrong. So we're paying again $5,000 or whatever for what we already paid for.
What guys are you referring to?
The electrical. Did you not? Were you not the contractor for the electrical?
The electrical panel that was moved, I've already done that. That's already done. I don't need to make sure that they do that right. It's done. There's nothing to check. So what we can do, if you're more comfortable, okay, you can get a different contractor, and then they can inspect my work. The inspector has nothing to do with inspect it, and if it's not right, then somebody can go in there and check it. The city will not issue a panel moving permit. They will not do that. There's no way we're going to just call them and say, hey, give me a panel. I've already talked to them. I've already tried. They're not going to give us a permit to move the panel. The panel is already moved. If, in fact, somebody comes in there and says this panel is not up to code, we won't sign off on it, I'll fix it. I'll stand behind my word. I'm going to do that anyway. But for me to move forward with you in this process, in this relationship, so the moving forward part is what we're discussing. And let me tell you, I'm flexible. I don't want you to feel like I'm trying to strong arm you. I really think you guys are great people. I would rather not do it at all, to be honest with you. But I will do it because I understand that it's a lot that you've got to deal with, and I would rather be involved so I can help you. If that doesn't resonate and make sense, and you don't feel it in your heart that he's being genuine and sincere, I get it. Go hire somebody else, because it's a nightmare for me. But I got your back. I'm here, and I will help you. But I have to be compensated. And it is a lot of work. I know let me just pull this wire. And it's going to be a whole lot of stuff going into that. I will visit with the city probably about 20 times on your behalf between now and the end of this process. And I'm signed up for that. But that's just the situation.
Okay. There's a gap in reality where our reality is. You're discussing the project later. We don't know if we're doing the project later because we have to get the financing. So what we're trying to do right now and what we're asking of you is just to address the immediate electrical room right there where the panel was and anything that's hanging out of that room. That's it. Anything beyond that is not being discussed. That would be discussed later and paid for and budgeted later. We're just budgeting and paying for specifically getting that room electrical addressed. That's it.
So let's try this. Alvante, do you think they would just allow them to be owner and pull the permit rather than put it under your license? Then they would do owner builder, and the owner would be able to pay for this permit. So did they say it has to be a general contractor? Because most of the time it doesn't. They will allow you to.
I think and this is what I was saying initially. From what I remember in our conversation, she was making sure that I was a contractor because she was saying that you couldn't do owner builder because it had already been red flag. That was what I remember from the conversation. I think they discussed that.
Makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Totally.
And my blood's on the line. I'm not making up issue. I don't do that. My blood's on the line. I gotta help figure this process out, and I gotta be there to participate. And it's not a. But I mean, I'm open. I'm open to whatever you guys are comfortable with. I definitely want you to be happy.
Yeah, I don't doubt that. It's just a matter of we have to take it one step at a time, and we can't pay for something that we don't even know that we're going to have the funds to do. So we have to pay for immediately what is right in front of us, which is the electrical work in that one room. So we would hire you to address the electrical work in that one room and that one inspection for that inspector. Anything beyond that is another negotiation, another contract.
Oh, Okay, so Almonte, he's saying he doesn't want to pull the permit that you got.
No,
He just wants you to
I don't know if, that permit, I'm not sure what that permit is. I'm not sure if that permit, it can be replaced by something else. If the permit is the issue, I'm not sure. I don't understand why the permit, it can't mean that it doesn't expose him to everything that possibly could be done for the house. It's not a blanket permit. It's a permit to notice to comply, and the electrical and the staircase and the multiple function family and a single family is what's on that notice to comply. So his liability is limited to what's on that notice to comply, and we're just addressing that immediately, electrical right now, and the staircase right after that. But we're not going into the whole scope of every potential violation that they may or may not have fine later. I just don't see how we can pay for something that we don't know if it's going to happen. It just seems very strange.
Exactly, Robert. So I think we should try and go to the inspector and try and. Elvante doesn't want to be liable. You want to tear the scope down. Why don't we try and see if we can get an owner permit rather than a general contractor?
We can't get an owner. We can't do an owner permit because I don't think an owner can do electrical work. An owner can't do electrical work. I can't pull an owner permit and then hire subcontractors.
On a residential, they'll let you do it. I just remember from my conversation that because of what I was thinking was because of the code violations. Now, let me clarify a couple things. There is no issuing of an electrical permit. They're not going to issue any permit that does not reflect everything that was mentioned in the code violation, right? So if you just call them and say, hey, I need an electrical permit, no problem. But you have an existing issue, which is the code violation, and they made me pull a complete project permit. So my permit is not just for electrical. My permit is for your entire project back to its original state. So they wouldn't give me anything else. They weren't going to issue me a move the toilet permit. They were going to issue a complete building bring to compliance permit or nothing.
Okay, so maybe the answer is, because we're kind of going around in circles. I guess what it is, I understand you want to be compensated, but if you want to be compensated, we have to have a contract. So I guess you have to have your guys come out and do a walkthrough and you give us a bid on the whole project as a scope. That way we'll have, you'll be protected and we'll be protected because we will know what we're paying for. That's the answer.
Okay.
But whether or not we'll do the project, I can't say because we don't have the funding until we address this simple electrical issue, and the stairs hopefully potentially could get us to that point. But that seems like a lot of work to plan and to do it. But if that's what you need to be comfortable with, that's fine. I mean, I wouldn't be comfortable paying for something that I wasn't clear what I'm paying for, so I can see your side where you don't want to do something that you're not being paid for. So we both have our viewpoints.
Right. I know initially he had offered that he had told Henry that he would accept $3,000.
Kids.
He paid $5,000. So, but I guess. I guess
the electrical work in that one room
for the city.
You need to become.
Did he do Winans?
Mm-hmm. Owner's permit, and you.
If something went wrong, here's this $500. I don't want to be involved. I mean,
it just makes sense.
Yeah.
Becomes what it is.
I'm throwing you a huge.
Gotten an understanding about that's relevant. Not that's.
I think we're just talking about,
In a scenario where I'm liable, that's the issue.
Or whatever and have nothing in return, saying
remove if you want to sewer line pipes, so he charged.
Despite what I said, like he was screaming, you've done everything else.
Walking halfway and then walking
Somebody else, or you could do it on your own. He's saying
the final call was about a 3 or 4 hour call. Robert, I don't want to
do anything wrong. There's no specifics about what a cost from you to finish. Okay, is there anything else that we should?
But the little $5,000, I'd rather. Yeah, and let me tell you, like I said, I gave you the example of electrical fire. You're getting for
Inspections. Then we need.
so, but I guess we can walk the project.
They were going to issue no issuing of an electrical.
Initially, he had offered that he had told Henry that he would accept a $3,000 payment initially, and that would be applied towards the $5,000. And that was originally. He never asked for the entire amount up front, but he said to pull the permit, start the work, meet with the inspector. He was not asking for the entirety up front. He was asking for a starting fee, and he would start the process. So he never even initially asked for, like, hey, right now I have to be paid $5,000. I'll start to do the work, meet with them, pull the permit, we'll see what the list comes, and that's what he was requiring. Just so you know, Robert, that he wasn't asking for the entirety up front back in the beginning, end of November, December. So, but I guess we can walk the project together, and if we can come up with an estimate of the work that needs to get done.
Okay, but that's what we did last time he came. That's not that. We did that already. We need an itemized statement, an itemized contract, a bid.
Well, no, you could just make it really simple because you just want to put it back to original condition. So you want to just the original.
Well, simple. He's not charging us a simple fee for his exposure. So we need a specific, contract for his fee.
For what though? But what do you want specifically itemized? I'm trying to understand. Do you want him to say, okay, let's fix the electrical hanging in the ceiling. Let's do this. So just that room complies. Then
right. If we're paying him if he's being paid because he doesn't want to be liable for the project that's not compliant, then we need to bring it to be compliant, and he's paid for that. That's what his fees reflect. The inspections that he's anticipating, we need to have those inspections. If we're paying him for 20 inspections, then we need to have the 20 inspections.
Okay. I guess normally though, when you hire a contractor, the contractor takes the fee. They take 15%, right, of whatever project you give them.
They take $500. They take $500.
Nobody works for $500, unfortunately.
They can only take $500 until they do the work. Then they get paid as they do the work. They don't get $5,000 retainer fees. I've never heard of that.
Hold on, Robert. Hold on. You're not a contractor, so we have to just.
It's okay. I'm loving it. I get you. I mean, I'm doing it wrong. I guess I don't know.
Yeah,
I've been a contractor since 2007.
Yeah, four.
Now, what we like may not be what is.
Yeah.
But we're not really here to dictate what will go on.
Yeah. I don't mind giving you guys an estimate. I'll give you an estimate, and then I can incorporate my estimate, can incorporate my fee. That's fine. I give you an estimate, but I'm not gonna start my estimate. When you say, hey, I'm ready to start, my start is gonna be from the entirety of my estimate, and just based on what I know about your project, from what I've seen and what I'm looking at, 40, 50 grand. I mean, so yeah, let's do it. But I'm not gonna take $500 and then start working. That's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
So you can take $1,000 deposit if that's the case. That's what the law says. The $1,000 deposit And that's if you're just going to hold their money and start the job in 6 months. But if I'm starting the project today, I can select whatever I need to start the project. And that will probably be somewhere around 20%. And the problem is they won't give me just an electrical. So if I can just pull an electrical, I can just give you an estimate for the electrical stuff. But there's no electrical permit. There's no plumbing permit. It's a complete bring the home compliance permit. So if you pull a permit a different way, and I know it's kind of hard, you're looking through that from my side or whatever. I don't want to be in a scenario where I'm liable. That's the issue. If you can relinquish me of liability, then we don't have to talk about money at all. But if I'm gonna be liable, it's just that's how this works. I mean, that's how this thing goes.
I mean, I don't mind doing a disclaimer about your liability of the work you do, but I don't know if there's such a thing exists.
And let me tell you, like I said, I gave you the example of what the scary part of it is. When you sell the property, the new owner doesn't care about your disclaimer. All they care about is what's on the books. And if you go pull your building plans from that original building when that house was first built, it still has the contractor who built it on there. So what I'm saying is once I commit to your project, I'm on there until someone else comes on after me. And so I'm liable, regardless of whatever. And they're not going to say these guys didn't end up working together. And it's not going to say that. Oh, he gave them a letter of compliance. It's not going to say anything like that. I'm going to get a phone call in 10 years from somebody saying, hey, remember the job you did on Bethesda? Yeah, in Bethesda, something went wrong. It burned down because the electrical was done wrong, and your name is the contractor on the electrical. I'm like, well, what happened? Oh, we don't know. It's an electrical fire. You're getting sued for $100 million. That's how this thing works. So I got to cover my back. And so I know that doesn't make sense, but the little $5,000, I'd rather not take it. I'd rather just keep it and figure out another plan. I don't know if that's resonating with the conversation. I think you guys are great folks. I'm not digging in your pocket. Don't want you. I would rather for you to figure out another way, and I'll help you as much as I can. But the reality of it is that if I am to be, and it's not even fair to me. I don't know if you can realize what I'm saying. It's better for me to give you a bid for $40,000 and you say, no, that's too much, and then you go a different way. That's better for me, but if that's the way we can go that way, you commit to that, and then I'll get my $5,000 fee out of the $40,000. It's the way that it works. So I'm cutting to the chase. This is the discount method. This is trying to save you some money, saying, I'm going to help you, just give me some money to compensate me for the time that I'm going to have to involve myself into your project. And I'm not going to stand around every week and say, hey, can you give me a check for $300 because I had to meet the homeowner or the inspector. I'm not doing that. That's just not realistic.
Right, but you're asking us to commit to a project that we don't know if we have the funds to do yet. So you're wanting us to pay for something that we may not end up doing. That's my issue.
Well, I do understand that. So we do need to know that we're going to do the project.
And we don't know we're going to do the project until we get the financing. We can't get the financing until we remove these issues immediately right up front, which is the electrical in that room and the staircase. So that's what I wanted to get a cost from you to finish. But you don't want to take that liability. You want the whole project, which I don't know how to do that because that isn't something that we have a bid for, or it's nothing we have the financing for right now. So I don't know how to work with that. I don't know what you want me to tell you.
I don't know. I think that the next step should probably be you call down there and ask them, is there any way that you can do owner builder?
I can't do an owner builder because you can't do an owner builder if you're planning on selling the property within like a year or something. You have to sign an affidavit.
That's true. You're right.
Okay, is there anything else that we should address that's relevant? That I mean, not
Well,
that's.
I think we're just talking about, first of all, what the next steps are and how El Fonte should be paid for those steps, right? I mean, if there's a way to break down just the initial, and maybe that's the thing. I hate to ask El Fonte if that's really going to give Robert the peace of mind to just say, okay, I'll bill you based on the hours that I perform. I don't know if that's something you really don't want to do. I understand that, but
Well,
I'm trying to see if it's like another.
Yeah, that's not practical for a G8 or for El Fonte or for anybody. So,
Sure, I know.
Well, it is practical. It is practical if we're talking about the first initial step, these baby steps. That's not practical in the whole project, but we're not looking at the whole project right now. We're looking at trying to save this project by these 2 baby steps. So it is very practical for these 2 baby steps. So it is practical.
Well, I think the flip side of that, Robert, is, most contractors don't do what these little baby steps that we're talking about. And with that, it's about what exactly the scope of work that we anticipate El Fonte doing. And it can't be just the baby steps, right? I think
well, that's in the beginning. That is as far as we can see. We can only see to those baby steps. Anything after that, we have to see what happens during those baby steps before we can see what's going to happen later. So we can't go beyond that right now.
Do you feel that the whatever number is now, I don't know, the 3,000 or the 5,000 is something that is unreasonable for those baby steps?
I don't know what that is. I haven't gotten an understanding about what the 5,000's for specifically. It's very vague. It's about meeting with inspectors and making sure his guys don't do anything wrong. There's no specifics about what that is for specifically. So I don't know.
Again, it sounds, if I'm hearing correctly, El Fonte, it's really to get this property compliant, right? I mean, I don't want to speak out of turn because for all I know, that may be much more involved than what we think right now.
Right. So what it is the $5,000 and it's becoming smaller and smaller in my mind as we have this conversation more and more. But what it is there is to compensate me to have input in this project. So I mean, I don't know any other way to say it. It's putting me in the process with you.
I mean, I would prefer you say it the way you say it when you do another job. When you go and you bid for another job, I assume you give very specific, bid. You don't say, you're going to pay me compensation for what I do for you. That's not what you tell other people when they hire you. You give them a bid.
These are moving targets.
I don't know what that means.
I think
Well, here's something I know. He's been doing this since 2000. I think you've been doing this before 2007. Am I correct?
Oh, 4. Yeah, I've been doing it before that, but I've been licensed in 04. Yeah. So
He and Dominique have done this multiple times.
No.
And they have made it work.
Yeah.
There's nothing you or I know that supersedes anything they know.
And I think that the hard part to understand here, Robert, is that it does seem weird, okay? And I know that. I understand it doesn't seem... And there is no reason for me to do this. So, and I know you're not getting that out of this. I'm throwing you a huge bone. Robert, I don't want to do it. I don't want to be involved. I really don't. I know that doesn't sound like... I don't. It's not about the money. I mean, the money is just like, okay, pay me something, I'll get involved with you. It's really not something I want to be involved in. The only reason I'm involved in having a conversation is because Dominique is seeing her do a lot of business together. She's a great friend. It's not in my best interest to do this at all. I'm the only one who loses. I'm the only one whose neck is on the line. The only one. I have a professional responsibility to uphold this whole project. It's not just, we'll move these cords. I'm still on the hook for everything that goes on at that property. I know it's not resonating there, but I don't want to be on the hook. I don't want to be involved. I really just like, yes, in a normal scenario, I give you a bid, you take it or leave it. Maybe we negotiate, maybe we get, and there is no like, we're going to do these baby steps. In your scenario, unfortunately, the city has tied your hands. You can't just do baby steps. You've got to comply with the entire project because they've already said your whole project is non-compliant. So if it wasn't that scenario, then yeah, you can say, Avante, can you come just pull electrical permit to move this stuff? Can you come pull plumbers? We can work step by step. But the city has already said, we need you to I made a commitment when I talked about this permit with the city that we were going to do the entire project. That was the only way we got the permit approved. They weren't just saying, we're waiting to write a permit. No, it was a red flag. They did not want to do it. I had to go to Zoom. I had several calls back and forth. The final call was about a 3 or 4 hour call. And finally, after talking to her boss and everybody in there, she said, we'll approve this, but you guys have to get this project all the way to compliance. I got one permit that says I will make this property compliant. There's no other middle step. There's nothing else. There's no, let's just call them out for plumbing. They're not going to come out just for plumbing.
Okay, so I mean maybe that's what you put. You give us a contract saying that your fee is to make this property compliant. Whatever that means to the city.
Yeah, okay.
So it becomes what it is.
That's what, I'll write something to that effect, but when I pull the permit, that's what I'm saying. So whether you hear it or not, I'm saying that to the state of California.
Right, but that's your relationship with the state of California. If we're paying you, we need a contract with you directly with us, not your relationship with California. That's separate. There's two different contracts.
Well, but I think we're now really reaching, we're on the same page. I think if we can have something, it's going to be very straightforward in writing, just outlining that your services for X amount is going to be for the purpose of bringing this property towards compliance. I think if everyone, including you, Alvante, and Robert, feel comfortable with that, then let's do it, because I think at this point we're now really at a critical juncture, and it's really important just to move forward. We've got to, whether it's baby steps or whatever it may be, but we've got to keep moving forward. I know that both Dominique and I are here to support all of you in the process, because it's a daunting road ahead.
All right, well, let's do it. I'll write you up something.
Yeah, we're all here to support you, Robert and Henry. He'll write up a proposal up to what it would cost to remove those code violations.
I think the summary here is Alvante is the expert. This is like if you have cancer and you don't want to have an operation, but you need to have it. It is not up to you to decide that you will not have it or how it will be done. He's been doing this over 20 years.
Right. And I mean, he's saying that you can also, right, I know, but he also said if there's another contractor out there or somebody else where you could do it on your own, he's saying he's okay with that. He was just helping in the process.
But you guys have a shorthand, you have a working relationship, and you know how to make this work.
Right.
So,
Alvante's already also started the process. I mean, it just makes sense.
Yeah.
Right. You can end up spending more by starting from scratch.
This is like cancer. You do not like the process, but it has to be done. And I know because I know several people with it. I know 3 people going through it right now, and they see what's going on.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Well, let's...
Yeah, but we're not here to reinvent the process. It is what it is, and it has to be done a certain way.
Well, we'll look to Alvante as...
Thank you so much for taking on this call.
No problem at all. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. I'll get you guys something. I'll definitely work with you. That's fine.
Thank you.
Let's just figure it out. You're welcome. It's no problem.
All right, thank you, everyone.
Thoughts on that?
Okay. Thank you so much, Almonte. I appreciate it. I'll be in touch.
All right. Well, call me back.
Okay.
Take care, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Alvante.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Henry,
Okay, are we all
do you
still on?
remember when we had that guy come and do the windows that we had extended outside the lobby? All those aluminum windows, those small aluminum windows that were the side entrance to the lobby. Do you remember that? He was the guy from Mississippi. He came. He gave us the bid he was a guy from Mississippi because he was also from Mississippi because it was interesting because we had a conversation, right? He seemed very friendly, very nice.
My answer is I don't recall.
Okay, well, he came.
My answer is I do not recall.
Okay, he came. He gave us the bid to do all the work for that. It was like $5,000. Okay, he ended up being there for 2 hours and asked us to pay him $5,000. The way he had,
I don't think this is so.
right, you were there and it happened, and you were just as surprised as I was because of the way he had worded and set it up. Basically, we got fucked.
Alvante and Dominique have been working together for years. This is
Yes,
not
I
something
have a
back.
car. That's what I think you're not Robert. I have a property I'm listing. He just did all the plumbing, all the work for the electrical on this property. I work with him. He's a reasonable.
And did he charge you a $15,000 retainer fee?
No, he charged for what it was going to be for all the plumbing, electrical, and the work itself, and pulling the permit, and it was like $15,000 for that one section of the house that needed new plumbing and new electrical. Because the electrical is a 100 amp panel, so he did it based on the entire project. And he charged, and he had his guys there working, pulling the permit for the city, and he did that. Yes, but your case is different because there's no code violations like on this other project. This was like a simple, straightforward, okay, we need to change the pipes that are from 1940, and we changed the plumbing pipes and the sewer line pipes. So he charged a fee for that work. It's different than this. This is a
Did he do Winans?
Did he do Winans?
Mm-hmm.
He did. No, he did not do Winans. No.
Who did Winans?
He did not do Winans. I did Winans. I pulled the permits. He came in after with another gentleman named Tommy. But Tommy is too busy. He couldn't get involved. I asked him first. He's just too busy. But we didn't have any code violations. Again, it's the same thing. No code violations. Right, we're doing upgrades. So I work interchangeably.
What the
with
fuck are you fucking?
contractors.
Y'all guys are just y'all are testing me. You're just talking gibbery. You have code violation. You just didn't pull a permit. You didn't get caught like you did here. That's what happened at Winans. There were code violations. You just didn't pull the permit and no one caught you.
No, you should look at the permit. You should look at
Oh no, there were permits on
permits on file. I'm sorry, there was a bill. It was just small. It was just, we pulled for air conditioning. We added air conditioning heater, kitchen remodel, and there was a bathroom addition.
Which involves electrical. All of those things involve electrical.
I guess it goes back to the thing. What do you want to do? I do think
I want to go back and have it done the way I told you to do it, which would have it done with a permit originally. We would not be in this situation, Dominique, if you had done what I told you to do. I specifically told you to do it with a permit because you said it would be to code. And I said, well, if you're going to be to code, then you need to do the permit. What is this? Why not do it? If you're already doing the code, make it official. And you said, oh, but it's so much trouble. We don't want to have the inspector here. So you ignored me and you did it your way, just the way you had the guys come and take all the construction stuff out of my unit, potentially exposing my stuff to be thrown away that was more valuable than you could ever imagine because you decided that you wanted to do it that way. And you overrode what I asked you to do.
Hey,
Okay, so wait, Robert. So the permit, we would have pulled the permit, right? And they would have come in. I removed the. If you wanted to do that, still the same. We should still pay the permit fee. It's no different.
It is different because now it's a code. It's a code. Don't again gibberish. You're telling me it's different. It's not different. It's very different to have a code violation substandard than to have a permit for electrical. Completely different situation.
Stop. Lower the volume. And number one, Dominique has no control over the guy coming to the property.
I didn't say she had control over it. I said she had a control over choosing not to follow my instructions, which was to pull it with a permit, to do the work with a permit. I was very specific with it. That is what she had control over.
You can be as specific as you want. You can be as specific as you want. You have no control over the process, and neither does Dominique. Neither do any of us. You are not.
If the guy had came and we had a permit, this would not have happened. We would not have a substandard code violation.
No, but you have.
I don't.
That's not true, Robert, but I understand how you feel. I understand how you feel.
Somebody in the neighborhood apparently must have just called you out for whatever called
us out for doing work without a permit. If she had pulled a permit, there would not have been work without a permit.
This is not true.
Oh, God.
I saw the file when it went down. When he walked out of the room to go get Vicky's file, I flipped through the file. His complaint, it's an anonymous internet, and it was not about, quote unquote, the work we were doing. It said multiple units, single family. This is what the complaint said. I saw it. It is not anything Dominique did not do.
I'm not going to argue the point anymore. It should have been done the way I asked it to be done.
That's right. That's right. Then stop arguing.
Henry?
Because you assume that you are right. Because you want to be belligerent about everything. Now, Bonnie has 20 years experience doing this. You don't, and I don't. He has a working relationship with Dominique. They're trying to move it forward for your benefit, for everyone's benefit. No one is against you. He has a right to be compensated.
For specific work, not given a blank check for some vague description of some work that may or may not include something or something else. For looking over to make sure his guys do everything right. That is not a bid. That is not something you give someone $15,000 for.
Bring the property to code.
That's what I said. If he does that, fine. Bring the property code. We'll pay him compensation for that. That's what I said. That's not what he was suggesting.
Yelling. Stop talking over everyone. That is what he's aiming to do.
After I pressed it.
You don't want to believe that.
After I pressed it.
No. You think he's going to walk in halfway and then walk out halfway?
That's what the other guy did. The other guy walked in for 2 hours and wanted $5,000.
Yeah, he's not.
Do you remember Ted? Do you remember Ted, the first contractor we had, Dearborn? You didn't deal with these contractors, Henry.
Dominique, I'm sorry, you were saying?
No, I said, I'm sorry you had these negative experiences with these contractors. But I've worked with
no one has a good experience with a contractor. That's the answer. But I'm glad that you work with Alvante and you have your working relationship and you have your shorthand and you know how to get things done.
Right. And if Alexandra, if you know somebody else that can do this, we can certainly consult with them.
There's no reason to start looking at somebody else.
I agree with that in the sense that also it's just it's starting from scratch, and I think you'll end up then spending more money. So I think, given the fact that Alvante does have the experience, the expertise,
he has experience. Thank God he even wants to step in. As he said, he didn't want to, but he will. Thank God.
And there's a historic working relationship with Dominique. He knows the property now. And, Robert, in the end, we're not committing to any big undertaking at this point. For now, it's a fee to make sure that we reach the compliance and then
His neck is on the line. He's not going to walk out and do some shoddy job. He said flat out he's liable.
And of course,
He knows how this
Dominique and I will be here to also make sure that, you know, everything is being handled as it should, even though I'm sure it will be.
I know, I'm not, yes,
I trust in the process a little bit.
I think so, yes. And I think I understand Robert's frustration and anger.
Absolutely.
And I get it. I get it that you're angry and frustrated. Maybe we should have, you know, sold the house as is with all of those renovations there. But we did. When we uncovered, there was mold, there was all kinds of things. You didn't have a staircase before. You did a lot of work to the house to put it back into a single family unit. So if it was this multifamily violation, you removed, there was a lot of, unfortunately, water. There was a plumbing pipe that had spilled all the way through there, and they removed all of those areas. No plumbing was actually done on the house. They just removed what was existing, the bathroom that was put in there, and the shower.
Or 10% of the contract price,
What?
whichever is less is the key. Which means if your contract is $1,000, what's your down payment? $100, which is 10%. When your contract is $50,000, what's your down payment? $1,000. Because it cannot exceed $1,000. 10% of 50,000 would exceed the $1,000.
Hello? Nobody can hear what you're applying.
The limitation in California for deposit on contractors is $1,000. If it's a $50,000 job, the limitation is $1,000. Not 10% of $50,000, $1,000.
You would have to buy
Stop
materials.
doubting Alfonso. No one is going to step in.
Yes, because of what we're in.
The people you had come and take a look, you said did not even get back to you. You're not going to find somebody off Yelp. Thank God Alfonso will step in. You have to just stop doubting
Henry,
everyone.
pay the man whatever you want to pay.
By law, but the state says many of them don't. And that
Do it like you've done everything else this entire time that you've been in charge, and just screw us further down the ground like you've done everything else.
Yep. That's where I said everything wrong. Thanks. Okay, don't worry. Then we will.
We're trying to get the property into shape where you.
I'm simply trying to protect our legal responsibility and make sure we get what we're paying for, instead of just paying money for something that we're not going to get. Okay? All I've asked is for everyone else who would do the same thing. They want a contract saying what they're paying for. They're not just giving a blank check that is over the legal limit that is allowed in California for someone to take for a contractor and have nothing in return saying what we're paying for. You can call me crazy, but I'm not going to do that.
Well,
They're not on such terms.
Okay.
Alfonso is not suddenly going to rip Dominique off.
Then why is he asking for something that's not legal? He's not legally allowed to take more than $1,000, period.
Regardless of your paranoia, he is not going to submit.
Henry, it's not paranoia. That is directly from the state of California licensing department. It's CSLP, California Contractor License Educational. That's it. It's from the horse's mouth.
I think the challenge here is that we're not talking about a bid in the traditional sense that comes from a contractor. And that's the challenge where I think
He's a general contractor. He has to abide by general contractor rules. And that is the rule for general contractors.
well
Why
then
didn't you go find a contractor with the $1,000 deposit?
Henry, I'm not saying that I can. I'm simply telling you that.
if we
in.
Do you think that's
Just
a
put the
big
tip
deal?
in. That's
Out and pull it back to it.
down. That's something that we could do, but we don't do that in. What is this? I don't understand this. What is this? I don't understand this. But I can't imagine.
They don't have that on.
So, what is this? I don't understand this extra cost for doing it with the inspector. Is it that his time to come for that day to be there when the inspector signs off? I don't think he has to be there when the inspector signs off.
Multiple times. They're going to come through several things. They're going to go through a lot.
For relocating the electrical panel.
So relocating the electrical panel is nothing. He
Right.
can do the work.
That's what I want him to sign. What is this? I don't understand this extra cost for doing it with the inspector. Is it that his time to come for that day to be there when the inspector signs off? I don't think he has to be there when the inspector signs off.
Multiple times. They're going to come through several things. They're going to go through a lot.
For relocating the electrical panel.
So relocating the electrical panel is nothing. He
Right.
can do the work.
That's what I want him to have the permit signed off on. That's it. That and the stairs. And that's it. That is it. The stairs, the work he has done.
But that has nothing.
I don't care. I'm not going down that road with you, Dominique. Okay. I want him to get the permit on the electrical panel signed off, and the staircase. We want to finish that with the railings and get the city to sign off on that before we move on to anything else.
So if Henry we have some money, we can do the stairs and do the railing. We can do those things. If there is money, we can do those things. We can continue. But the reason why we were going back and forth with Revive is because I thought there was no money to do so. So I didn't proceed again, right? I didn't proceed with any of those things. And we've had multiple meetings with Revive. I don't think I must have had 8 or 10 calls with them back and forth. It's not as if we were twiddling our thumbs doing nothing. And you can, all of those conversations, Henry was trying to get the reason Revive had an issue in the beginning was that there was, we were back. We had a debt still owing on that. Payments were incurrent. So all these things took time to rectify. But it wasn't like we could have proceeded, but I thought there was no money to proceed to do the work, to put the railing in and all those things. But if there is money to do it, we can certainly do it. But everything costs. So that's the reason that all these things need to get done, and I'm happy to do them. Absolutely. But they cost money. They're not for free.
But we've already paid for them.
We paid for the work. It was not yet signed off.
Right.
Alvante got Alvante got the new permits that have moved us forward. We have not done anything on quote unquote.
There were no permits on the city's on building and safety. There's no new permits.
Yes. There are permits.
He went down. I'm sorry. He had a conference call with them.
Yeah, that's different than pulling the permits.
They issued a permit based on the conference call with him. He asked to be paid. Now, to be perfectly honest, as I look back on it, because I was going to Venmo him, he asked to be paid $700 for the permits, and the total fee to as a retainer going forward, including the permit, was $3,500. He is not.
That's if he came on there, right, and started dealing with the inspector, right?
Yes, but to be honest, I actually have to pay him for the permit because
so he wants $3,500 to be there when the inspector looks at the work he did for the electrical panel and says, "Okay."
This is to move forward. It's not unreasonable to ask for a retainer.
Okay, we're making it more complicated than it needs to be. Right now, we need to focus on small pieces, okay? We're not doing well with the big picture here, okay? We need to do the little things. We need to get him to come, be there for the inspector to sign off on the work he did with the electrical panel. And to sign off, we need to spend the money for the railings and have that signed off. And one doesn't have to, they don't have to be done together. He can come and do the permit for the electrical panel, and then we can do the staircase. Because I'm telling you, that electrical panel could have issues.
Well, I think based on what I'm understanding, he will require a retainer in order to do those things.
But we've already paid him for the panel. Why does he need a retainer? He's not doing any more work. He's simply being there to sign off on the work he did because it was supposed to be done with a permit.
Well, the permit is now.
It was supposed to be done to code. Okay.
He didn't change the panel. The panel is the same as it was
He
before.
relocated the panel.
Correct. So
Right.
if you want him to come and do that and sit there with us, but he's only going to do it for the electrical. He was only paid for the electrical.
That's what I need him to do. That's one thing we can check off because we will know at that time if we have a problem with the electrical. Because if not, then we get the electrical removed.
Hold it. You need to watch your tone. You can say whatever you want. But
I
don't
keep
find it
repeating
good.
and you're
Calm
not
down.
listening to me, and it makes me upset because we are here and I've told you guys so many times of these things and they're coming back up again and you're not taking my advice.
I totally support and understand you, Robert. We're going to we just got to figure it out, and let's take it, like you said perfectly, we'll take it one step at a time. So maybe the way to do this, per your recommendation, is we just have Alvante work on the electrical piece to get that approved, and then have the inspector come, and then we take it from there.
Yes.
I think...
And then we have the money for the stairs, we do the stairs. And then we address the multiple unit thing and we get more details. But then hopefully we will see if he will, in the meantime, close out the violations that we have now and open up new ones, which will maybe be less offensive to these companies that do the construction because they won't have any prior work on them and they won't be substandard. That's the best we can do. If you have guys have a more proactive way of doing this that is actually doing something and not just hoping and praying to the stars that someone's going to come down and fix it for us, I'm open to it. But we keep kicking the ball down the stream, and it's been 6 months. We keep kicking it. No one is going to fix this for us.
Well, let's move forward with that proposal. I think that, and I don't know if, Henriette, I want to speak on your behalf, or Dominique, but why not have Alvante come in, handle the electrical permit, get that cleared, and then it's a conversation to be had with the inspector as to what the next steps are.
Yeah, we can just pay him, but he will not handle anything else. I'll just talk to him about the electrical. But we still have a problem with Revive because Revive, Robert, they saw the condition of everything. They were talking.
I think Revive's out of the picture.
Yeah, they're out, and Robert is. You can talk to them. It doesn't have to be Alexander and I. You're welcome to call people. This is like you are.
I have called. I do call people, but it doesn't matter who I call. If we use Revive or we use Castilia or whatever the hell they're called, it doesn't matter. They're all going to have the same situation. They have limitations. They're called heavy renovation limitations. That's what the technical term is for these loans, where they don't want to go into properties that have a beyond surface area, repairs. And the salespeople can tell you they do permits, they do all this kind of shit, they do ADUs, they do everything, but they're fucking lying. They're just telling you what they want to tell you because they don't underwrite the proper. They don't underwrite the loans. They're the face.
Hold on. Robert, keep the volume down, please.
I think
everything you're saying is perfectly fine and legit. Just keep the volume down.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I yell when I it's a habit. I don't know why I do that. It's just.
Well, I know it's
fine.
It's frustrating and it's exasperating, but know that we are here 100%. 150% to support you. So I think the next step is, again, we got to do it in baby steps. And I do think maybe that is the approach, unless you want to talk to some potential developers who can take it all on, but they will not be there to give you a price that is in your favor. I can guarantee that. So I think,
Yeah, but that's kicking it down. That's something that we could do, but we don't do that instead of doing what we can do. We do what we can do, and we look for other options at the same time. We don't just pray to the gods that someone's going to save us. It's not going to happen. We do what we can do, and then we look for other things at the same time. We will talk to the Moss guy. We will talk to Alex. We will pursue those things, but we have to start doing these things, or we're going to run out of time.
Well, then I think the next course of action is to talk to Alvante. Dominique, if you think he's willing and able to.
Yeah, I mean, all he's going to do is do the electrical, and I'm happy. I'll pay him to do it, and he can do it. He doesn't work for free, but I will cover that cost. But the thing is, I know when the inspector comes, I've done this over and over, they're going to look at other things.
Yeah, but what are you suggesting what are you suggesting, Dominic, for that not to happen?
I'm suggesting that when the inspector comes, you should be there to meet with him.
No, obviously I will. But I mean, I don't see a way for that not to happen. I don't see how we can get this done without dealing with the inspectors.
I know. The problem is the money to do all the other things, to put everything back and sell the home is the challenge. We need to come up with the money. But I'm happy to talk to him as long as we pay him back the permit fee. I will cover the cost for him to come. He will do the electrical. But when he comes, the inspector is going to go over everything else in the house, and you should be present for that.
Well,
that way there's no.
We don't know for sure he will go through everything in the house. He may come sign off on the permit, but he potentially could see other violations. But they don't. It doesn't. It's not a requirement that he walks through everything. We don't want to suggest that he do that. We just want to have him sign off on the permit.
You're going to look around the room.
Yeah, obviously, but we don't want to invite him to do it.
There's no windows on the door.
Right, but we're not asking him to sign off on the windows. We're only asking him to sign off on the electrical panel. That's it.
That's fine. He's just going to sign off on the electrical panel.
Henry, this is I need something. Okay, so we received a promotion for Renewal by Andersen, which are their kind of like their replacement product for their windows and doors. It's not like their architectural side. It's more like for quick replacing. It's not for new construction. But we have 40% off windows and doors, and no money down, no monthly payments, no interest for 12 months. Do you want the phone number to call them?
Oh, just text it to me.
Because I'll give you the phone number because it expires. It says it's good through January 27th. So we don't have like a few more days. So the phone number is 626.
You can't honestly believe those promotions expire. Go on.
Do you have something better? I'm not saying it's guaranteed, but we don't have any. I don't have a whole stack I can go through. This is the one I have. This is the one we deal with. This is what we have, Blanche. You're in a wheelchair. This is it. Okay, 626.
What's the number?
626-478-0034. So that is for the patio doors that would be needed for the bond. I mean for bond, for the lobby, or which is in the new kitchen area, I guess, and for potentially for the two guest houses, because those garage doors are not to code, so they would need to be sliding doors as well. So there's a lot of big doors. So
So one thing I'll tell you, just so you know, one thing I'll tell you about the inspectors. When Vicky and I went down, he was very nice and whatever. Whether it's true, he said, "I'm not going to look at anything I don't need to."
Right,
okay,
I know that.
Tell you that.
I know that, but he can't ignore a garage door. He can't ignore a garage door.
He is not going to go into white. And actually, when he walked into Juanes, if you remember, thank God I had the curtains on the inside instead of the outside. And he only saw curtains. He did not see the garage door. You know, that's not to say he won't go back in and see them, but whatever.
He was on the outside of Juanes, he's not on the inside.
He went into Juanes. But the sheer curtains, I had... I had them on the inside, so they were blocking the garage door.
Right.
He did not.
Well, I mean, the two doors for the two studios are only a small fraction of the overall cost that we're going to incur. But the thing is, if we can have it no money down, no interest payment, we should address it, because there's a limited window of time based on this, if it's true or not, by January 27th to take advantage of the promotion. So we might as well have it as an option. We get them out there, we get the estimate, and then we can pursue down later. By that time we would have the inspector here, and we'll kind of fill out what he's going to have requirements are, but we won't miss the promotion. That's what I'm saying. We just make sure we keep all these juggle all these elements to make sure that we don't drop any balls. Because we don't have the money for all these windows. We have to have it financed. There's no money for all these patio doors. So all these openings have to be financed. That's a big chunk of the renovations that we're looking at. So that's why this is important.
Well, and to both your points, Henry and Robert, I think that the idea here is, with regards to Alvante clearing the permit on the electrical and you both being present with the inspector, is to simply then say, okay, what is it that you now need from us in order to be fully compliant and to remove this substandard notice?
Right, exactly.
And then go from there. But I don't know what the timeline is. Dominic, maybe you have a sense of that with regards to getting the electrical cleared. Is that something that can happen relatively quickly?
If it's to code, it should be only a matter of this week. If it's to code.
Yeah, but so one problem is I just texted Alvante when we were on the call. He said he never paid the permit fee.
That's what I told you. That there was no permit pulled.
He never paid the permit fee, so we have to pay that. He never paid.
Is the permit application open or something? Then I thought he got it.
No, he didn't.
He did get it, but he didn't pay for it because he didn't receive the money.
Got it.
He said you should pay for it online.
Right. Okay. We're back to that again, Dominique. He needs to do it.
Well, but that's easy.
He needs to do it.
Paid.
Henry's not going to pull an owner's permit. He's not going to do it.
Okay, well,
he can't do it.
Can do it.
By legally, he cannot do it.
Right.
So he needs to be fronted the money to pay the permit. That's what we're saying.
Yes.
I don't know. I'm asking him, but he thought that he was going to get reimbursed, and he said he just never followed up.
We will pay him for the permit, but he has to do the permit in his name as the contractor because he's doing the permit.
I believe it was $700.
Yeah, I think that's
for the electrical, right?
Fire station.
For just the electrical, Henry.
Hold on. When he was on the phone for like an hour with whoever, going through everything, he said that the cost of the permit is $700.
The permit for the remodeling, you need an entire permit from the city.
I don't know.
Yes, and
so I don't know if I can add a third person. This is him calling me. You want me to try?
He's calling you now?
You should be able to.
Let me see if I can add another person.
Oh, Henry, I was talking to Alexandra about the fact that we should move the guys from Bamboo to the studios here so we can rent out Bamboo and get the income so we're not losing money every month.
The only place it could be moved is White.
And Juana's.
And where are you going to go?
I'll go somewhere. But only if we have bookings there for them.
Yes.
This is Alvante. I hope we can all be on the call together.
I'm here. Hey, guys. How are you? Hey.
Happy New Year.
Alvante.
Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, yes.
Okay, so I kind of briefed him on our call, but Alvante, you were on the call so go ahead and kind of tell them what happened. Robert needs to kind of understand the background in Henry, so if you could share that with them again.
Okay, so how are you guys? So the question was about a permit for just moving the panel. Is that the question?
Yeah, because we're trying to just eliminate those violations because those are issues that the people who do the financing have issues with those open permits. So we want to try to eliminate those open permits specifically without going into the larger renovations yet.
Okay, so with regards to the panel, let's one thing at a time. The electrical panel, when I originally started the process for the building permit, they told me that they would not give me a permit to just move the panel over 2 feet. There's no permit for that. Now, there is no open permit for that. There's no need to pull a permit for that. Your electrical panel is not in violation. There is no need. It's like trying to fix a flat tire that's not flat. There's nothing with the panel. They're not even concerned with the panel. So with the permit that we did pull, which has not been completely pulled, is to eradicate the code violations, which are the unapproved or unpermitted plumbing and all the other issues. So the panel is nothing. They don't even care about the panel. They won't even. I tried to get a permit for a panel. They don't have a permit to move the panel over 2 feet. And the lady kind of laughed at me. She was like, "Why would you need a permit to move the panel 2 feet? And the panel is not in violation." That's not the issue.
Okay, so it's on the notice to comply. It said electrical work done without a permit. So how do we address the electrical work done without a permit on the notice to comply?
That is all of the other stuff. They're not talking about the panel.
Oh, God.
They're talking about the entire building that's got wires hanging out of the ceiling and plugs in places that aren't supposed to be there. They're not talking about the panel. That's not what the issue is.
Oh, that's interesting.
The issue is all of those non-compliant rooms that have electrical in them, that have plumbing in them. So that is the non-code electrical that they're talking about. They're not talking about the panel at all.
And they specifically expressed that to you and stated that to you, Alvante? Because it's not really clear on the actual violation.
Yeah, and they did, and let me, I'll go even further to say, the conversation that I had with her was, they're not signing off any electrical anything unless all the electrical has been addressed. So even if I did, I was like, "Can we get a permit for the panel?" She's like, "We don't have a permit just for the panel." And I said, "Well, you know, what do we do?" So she's like, "You guys have to go and fix all this other electrical issues." So let's say in a scenario where they would give me a panel permit. They're not going to come in there and say, "Oh, we're just going to sign off the panel and all this other stuff is fine." That is never going to happen. That's not even an option. So what they're worried about is all that other non-compliant electrical in all the other areas. They don't know about those lights in the ceiling, whether or not they're compliant. They need to have all that stuff inspected. The last thing they're worried about is the panel. They're not even thinking about the panel.
Okay.
Not even, they don't even have that on
So.
their
the inspectors when Vicki and I went down.
If it's the code, it should be only a matter of this week. If it's the code.
You're correct. You're absolutely right. Removing it is correcting it.
Right.
Yes. They're not signing off any They're not signing off any electrical anything unless all the electrical has been addressed. So even if I did, I was like, "Can we get a permit for the panel?" She's like, "We don't have a permit just for the panel." And I said, "Well, you know, what do we do?" So she's like, "You guys have to go and fix all this other electrical issues." So let's say in a scenario where they would give me a panel permit. They're not going to come in there and say, "Oh, we're just going to sign off the panel and all this other stuff is fine." That is never going to happen. That's not even an option. So what they're worried about is all that other non-compliant electrical in all the other areas. They don't know about those lights in the ceiling, whether or not they're compliant. They need to have all that stuff inspected. The last thing they're worried about is the panel. They're not even thinking about the panel.
Okay.
Not even, they don't even have that on.
So.
Does the panel even need to be addressed?
Not at all. Not at all. It's nothing to address. We moved the panel like 2 feet. They don't even care about that. It's not even on their radar.
Okay, so the only electrical work that was done without a permit would be the electrical that's in the bathroom that we removed. So we would remove those wires, that electrical work that is no longer there for the bathroom, which is no longer there.
Yes.
And then we can have them come and sign off, see if they'll sign off on the electrical.
Right. So and that's what you have to do. So you have to pull all that stuff out and pull it back to its original state.
There was
We don't
there was
have
no
a
original
permit
state.
at this point.
We just removed the electrical outlet that was there for the bathroom, and that's it.
Right, so that would be putting it back to its original state.
Right.
So you'd be putting it back to the way that it was. So by taking that outlet out, you'll be putting it back to the way that the city recognizes it being when the last time they
So
inspected
I guess
the
what
structure
we
was
would need,
probably 30 years ago.
we would need an idea of a cost and time for you to come, have your guy come in and do a walkthrough of the area and just eliminate those things that are obviously going to be issues, so that we can have the guy, the inspector come in and hopefully sign off on the electrical issue. So that's what we should
They
do.
have to be corrected first. I think
They
is
have to
what
be corrected,
Almonte is saying. They have to be corrected first.
Well, there's correcting means
Correct.
removing it. We're not replacing it. We're just removing it.
Removing it. You're correct. You're absolutely right. Removing it is correcting it.
Right.
Yes.
So we don't need it replaced. We just simply need him to, do a scan as far as things that he sees that would be violations that the inspector would see. Outlets that obviously aren't there for a purpose anymore and need to be removed. If is there anything wrong with the hand lights? We would address that. But other than that room where all that demo was done, everything else in the building is original. It would be hard for him to find something that isn't. I'll phrase it like that.
Right.
There may be outlets here and there, but they look like all the other outlets, except for that room that we're talking about where the demo was. That's blatant that there are issues there. So we just need to clear out those issues in that 12 by 12 room. And that's it. And then we hopefully can have the inspector sign off on the electrical.
Yeah, well, that theoretically that would be it. If in fact if he would sign off on
Right.
it. I don't know that that's going to be
Yeah,
the case.
we don't know that. We're just trying to make the best of a worse situation because we need to eliminate those three things: the electrical, the staircase, and then we're going to have to directly get some sort of feedback from him as far as what we need to do to eliminate the multiple use of a single family when it's not multiple use anymore because there's no one living there, and we removed the wall that was separating it, so it's not multiple use technically. So that's we have to deal with him on that, but we need to address the staircase, railing, get that done, and the electrical issues because those are specifically on the notice to comply. Everything else on the notice to comply is very vague, and we'd have to get input from him to rectify it. But those two things we can hopefully address and get some, sign off from him, hopefully, before we move on to the other work that he might find.
Well, but
I'll show you.
Almonte, did they very specifically outline plumbing, first of all, on the violation, and second, to you in person?
So this is no, they didn't. So let me tell you what the problem is that we're going to run into. Right now, this is back about a month and a half when I tried to apply for the permit. The person that was willing to give me the permit kind of, after me talking to them for 3 or 4 hours, gave us a permit. And they are very unclear as to all of the code violations. And if they had pulled up all the code violations, they probably would have gave me a harder time getting the permit. So the permit that I have applied for, which has not been paid for, it's just in an application status, is enough to give us, if we do complete that application, the ability to go work.
Is it
Now,
just
when
a
they
general
come in
renovation
there-
permit, right? Like a renovation or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And so when they come back in there, they can require more,
Right.
They can condemn the building. They can do a whole lot of stuff. Once we go and right now we can go fix it, and they're gonna let us work. But if we go in there and say, hey, why don't you come check out these plugs, and then they condemn the building, now we're in a worse scenario. Right now you got a very inexpensive scenario. If they condemn the building and say, because it's not, in their eyes, it's not livable. They're just not on paper saying that yet to kind of be nice. But if we get them over there, I can't guarantee that they will, but based on my conversation, the lady was like, yeah, I'm going to give you this permit, but you guys need to fix all this other stuff. So when I call her and say, "Hey, can you sign off on this electrical?" She's gonna look at that as me playing games with her, and she's going to shut the whole project down. And then you got a whole other situation, which is a condemned building. So now we don't want to do that. And the reason I say it's condemned because you can't live in there. It's not a living situation, and they can easily say that because of the time that we've had and the condition of the residents. So I don't know. I don't want to advise you and tell you what to do. I would just fix everything we need to fix that we could. And so if you want to just pull the electrical out, fine.